One of the crucial points of the survey of MeLa research project on the future organization of new models of museums and libraries is to evaluate how much such change will interfere with the physical structure of exhibition places and their architecture. Museums, galleries, and libraries are the physical places and spaces, architectures, for material conservation, things, artifacts, the preservation of memories and culture, and the transmission, communication of knowledge. Museums and libraries are similar in their function of conservation, where the task of safeguarding heritage is delegated to repositories. Actually, libraries, in their process of accumulating and conserving books, are a peculiar genre of museums, and some of them became or are becoming museums of books in every sense, displaying books in galleries, organizing temporary exhibitions, and so on. Museums dedicated to book culture and literature have recently grown up as a new significant cultural phenomenon, like the Modern Literature Museum Marbach, or the museum dedicated to the 20th century Japanese novelist Ryotaro Shiba in Osaka. But the cultural fruition of librarian heritage is more markedly related to individual research. A personal construction of a survey. Access is not guided but open to multiple interpretative possibilities and modes of using the cognitive heritage. In museums, exhibitions belong to the very discourse of that the institution enunciates to the visitors. In libraries, we have a free access. Limitations to this freedom may result from binding factors, knowledge of the language or the inaccessibility of some text or for reasons of conservation of old books and manuscripts. However, computerization and digitalization can ensure the access to the contents of all these documents. Moreover, the web could make closer the realization of the online universal library with completely free or by payment access. But there is a question. Digitalization gives the possibility to access documents, but not to be in contact with the real objects, or, as it has been said, the visible, tangible knowledge. So as to say, do we consider books interesting or important as objects, or we consider only the contents of the books? Beyond the possibilities offered by virtual exhibition modes or internet with which you could create a sort of museum of museums or a network of networks of museums, in museum display and in temporary exhibitions, the presence of real things is an ineludible part of their mission and organization. In museums, knowledge is materialized in the artifacts. Beyond the question of authenticity or non-authenticity of artifacts in display, the rhetoric of exhibition is a vital component of the identity of the museum's institution. Arrangement, settlement, and narration are part of the same rhetoric. MeLa intends, through research by design, to evaluate the operational effectiveness of the over-mentioned theoretical reflection and their application on museum architecture and exhibition design practice. What is needed is to envision and experiment new sustainable and appropriate modes, strategies, and practices to increase museums and libraries' role and forms. But what will be the form, the architecture, the space of museums in future? I agree with Elaine Gurian when she says that in 25 years, museums will no longer be recognizable as they are now known. Many will have incorporated attributes associated with organizations that now are quite distinct from museums. Actually, we know physical fragmentation of exhibition spaces and architecture scattered through cities, territories, and nations is a trend going on in cultural foundations, let's think to Guggenheim's. Similarly, in the ongoing functional hybrid between libraries, museums, art galleries, Kunsthallen, and cultural centers. The exhibitionary complex is less and less definable along clear and separated typologies. Today, society's multiculturalism is reflected by multifunctionalism of many of the new cultural institutions. Many museums are more and more organizing their spaces to have few or no permanent exhibitions and more or only temporary exhibitions. We can already foresee a type of museum organized with one or more great repositories or warehouses from where pick up from time to time objects for exhibitions in different spaces, or, as it happens for example, Schaulager in Berlin, downstairs the same warehouse. Schaulager means warehouse. A 1999 exhibition at the Museum of Modern Art of New York, the Museum as Muse, Artists Reflect, organized by Kynaston McShine, intended to survey the ways in which artists have addressed the museum, commented on its nature, confronted its concept and functions, drawn for its methods, and examined its relationships to the art it contains. It's been a first step in reversing the point of view and to give artists a critical role confronting public cultural institutions. If we consider art as a powerful tool to investigate and understand social transformations, we must recognize that art, as Germano Celant has stated, is everywhere, made with everything, talking to everybody. It's not only a matter of a museum exhibition, it's a matter of communicating cultural issues with the art everywhere in a dynamic way, beyond the traditional boundaries in which we are used to be in the right mood to see works of art. In this sense, MeLa project wishes to stress the relevance and strategic value of a curatorial and artistic research project for the advancement of knowledge in the area of the core themes. Art installations and exhibitions will thereby become an important media of dissemination for the proposal and will contribute to expanding the target audience.